Hey there, I'm Mandy, and I am the Creative Genius Consultant. I'm an artist, I'm an author, I'm a creative retreat owner in Scotland. I help creative women to launch, grow, and scale their businesses and make more money. And today, I have decided to start filming for a vlog to document a big journey. Now, those of you that have followed me for a while will understand the backstory to this journey. But for those of you that don't, I'm going to fill you in first. So bear with me, those of you that do. So I put a castle on my vision board in 2018. I had built my dream business, launched it on Boxing Day 2019, and started to build it as we went into 2020. I'd achieved something big in 2019 and bought my dream home for cash, having lost everything 10 years earlier and been at rock bottom. So it'd been a big year for me, 2019. And I always have a big vision. So I asked what next? And the castle went onto my vision board. It was an idea in 2018, and I had a castle, some sort of castle. I had this idea going on in the background. By 2019, by the time I'd bought my dream home, it was the castle. So I went into 2020 with the castle on my vision board. It was Brecon Castle. I knew exactly how much it would cost to buy, £3 million. So I knew that I needed probably £6 million. And I thought, you know what? I'm allowed to dream this big. I'm allowed to have a vision board with this on it. So I was really happy. My husband, me, my 2 children, my 2 dogs in our dream home in Northumberland. And then COVID hit. And COVID hit in March, and my husband died on the 29th of April, 2020, which was devastating, absolutely devastating. He did have a life-limiting condition. We knew it was always on the cards, but it was COVID, his lack of immune system, and the fact it wasn't really safe to go anywhere that had triggered. It wasn't COVID that killed him. It was multiple organ failure due to an infection, which probably wouldn't have happened. And his normal consultants weren't in the hospital when he was taken in there. Anyway, it was a series of things. I was devastated. The kids were devastated. And I had this beautiful new dream home and not the dream man that I had married with me in it anymore. And it felt empty. Now, the one thing that he had done was push me to launch my dream business. So having done that and having stepped into my creative power, and I was still having success in my creative business, I kept things going despite this loss. And actually in 2020 hit 6 figures. But I was still grieving badly. And I thought, you know what? I need to give my life some real purpose again. I'm going to sell the house. And I'm going to move to Scotland, and I'm going to feel this goal of owning a Scottish castle more deeply. Now, I didn't want to own a Scottish castle just for the sake of owning a Scottish castle. I wanted to own it so that I could bring creative women from around the world to do creative retreats with me and completely change their world. It was in synergy with the business that I had launched, with the books that I'd written. I've got this whole creative business doing all these different creative things. And the castle was like the epitome of that. So I thought, you know what, we'll sell the house, we'll go and buy a house in Scotland, and I'll generate the wealth. If it takes me 10 years, I'll generate the wealth to have this castle. So I put my house on the market almost a year after Gary had died. It was actually in March 2021. And it sold the same day, the very same day. And that gave me a bit of a shock because I wasn't expecting that. And I got the full asking price from a cash buyer, no chain. And I was like, right, okay, the universe is sending me a message here. So I booked a weekend away for me and my son, and we went to look at houses in Scotland. We looked at 11 houses and we put a couple of bids in, and we were outbid. It's a very different bidding system in Scotland. You put your bid in, you don't know what anybody else has bid, and the highest bid wins, and nobody knows what it is, and you always offer over above the asking price. So it's a very different system. So that weekend was unsuccessful. We went back the following weekend and looked at some houses, and I took my sister this time. And I'd booked some appointments to view houses. And then my daughter found this house and she said, Mum, this looks like a really good house. It looks lovely. It looks old. And I looked at it and thought, oh, it doesn't look like much. But I booked an appointment because it was in between two other houses. And we pulled up outside and I thought, oh, this doesn't look much at all. I don't like the look of this. But as we were there, we went in. I walked in the front door and was blown away. It was beautiful. It was stunning. It needed loads doing to it. It was on the market for 180,000. It had been on the market for 2 years. So the price had been reduced and reduced and reduced. So it was a bit of a bargain. And I had a look around and I thought, it's going to cost a fortune to renovate, but there's so many good things about it. So I put a cheeky bid in and I got the house really cheap. But I knew then I had a journey. So I moved to Scotland in June 2021. I had a big house to renovate. It's actually the ex-Clydesdale Bank in Dalbeattie, and it had 7 bedrooms. Has 7 bedrooms. It has 6 now, but I'll tell you about that. But when I got home and I looked at the photographs of it, it was almost like a miniature version of the very castle that I had on my vision board. And I was like, oh my goodness, the universe has given me like a version of what's on my vision board. This is really important. This is something to note and to share and to talk about. So we moved to Dalbeattie and stayed in a little 2-bedroom flat down the street while I renovated. And it took from June to December before we got it anywhere near livable. And we moved, my son and I and the dogs moved in December 2021. And it was still a semi-building site. It's had a new roof, walls have come down, ceilings have come down. It cost £250,000 to renovate it. But I did it and I opened the doors in March 2022 to do retreats for 11 wonderful women, which was amazing. I've been doing bed and breakfast since then, and we're about to book retreats up for 2023. So if you want one, book a call with me and talk to me about it. I'll put the link underneath. But that's the story so far. So when I moved to Dalbeattie, and what the house is set up really strange. So it was the old bank manager's house, and attached to it was the old bank. Now, the old bank part of it is quite small compared to the house. And it's currently a beauty salon. And I booked my lashes and brows in that beauty salon and met Gemma, the lovely owner of it, and said to her, if you ever want to sell this, let me know. Because I walked in and thought, wow, this is amazing. This would make a great coffee shop, an art gallery. And then she said, well, actually, there's a 1-bedroom apartment above as well. So I went and had a look round and I was like, oh my goodness, this looks amazing. I could do so much with this space. So I said to her while she was doing my lashes, if you ever want to sell this, let me know. Give me first refusal, please. Thinking that maybe somewhere down the line, she might decide to sell it. So that was when did I book my first appointment? August 2021. So we're into 2022. I'm trained in the art bank. I've got retreats here. It's doing really well. And August 2022, September 2022, Gemma says to me while she's doing my lashes, thinking about selling. And I was like, I didn't expect that this soon. So since then, conversations have been had. And I have pulled together a business plan, submitted it to the Royal Bank of Scotland, pulled the bank manager down here. He's been and visited and had a look at what I've done here at the Art Bank, which is my retreat place and bed and breakfast, and had a look at the salon next door with the potential of it becoming a coffee shop. And he was blown away. So I had his support because I brought him down to visit the bank, to visit the to see what I've already done on my own in 8 months, and to see what my vision was for the coffee shop and gallery next door. So I had him bought into it. So I submitted all my business plans. They came back after about 3 weeks and said, we need more information on this. We're worried that you might not be able to cope with all of this extra work because you've got your coaching business, you're writing books, you've got your bricks and mortar business, your art bank where you're doing retreats and bed and breakfast. How are you going to cope with a coffee shop, art gallery, and additional accommodation? And I went back to the bank and I said, look, I used to be a divisional executive for Summerfield. I had 23 supermarkets under my responsibility, with a turnover of over £100 million a year. 23 store managers, all at different levels, some just starting, some that have been there a while, some really senior, all men, and I was the only woman. I said, and I didn't just do that job. I was the top performing divisional executive. And I won a holiday to Florida and maximum bonuses. This for me is normal. I am used to dealing with multiple income streams, multiple responsibilities, multiple levels of difficulty. So actually, I don't know what you've got to worry about. My CV is in the business plan. Go back to credit and tell them this story and make sure that they know that you don't have to worry about me. I will be taking a leadership role in this. I only work like 12 hours a week in my coaching business. I only work, 4 or 5 hours a week writing and doing books, doing that side of things. The bed and breakfast, I have a cleaner and a cook. I don't do the physical work. And in the coffee shop, it will be the same. So I went back and I said, no, pushed it back to them. And then it was Christmas and New Year. So they were considering it over Christmas and New Year. So I just decided to enjoy Christmas and New Year and visualize what it would be like if I'm going to give myself yet another busy year to do a big project like the coffee shop and art gallery. And yesterday, which was the 9th of January, I was about to go onto a Zoom call with a client, and 30 seconds before that Zoom call, the bank manager phoned me and he said, I've got news for you. And I said, I'm just about to go on a Zoom call. I said, can you just tell me yes or no? And I'll go and do the Zoom call and I'll phone you back. And he said, it's a yes, phone me back in half an hour. And I was like, oh my God. So the bank are lending me the money. Up to now, I've managed to pay for everything for cash from my business. And, so I own this property. I've got great equity, but Gemma came back a little bit too soon for me. So I've had to borrow the money to buy the salon and to renovate it and turn it into a coffee shop and do all the work on it. So that's why I needed the bank. So they've come back and said, yes, you can have the money in a climate where banks are not lending, where everything is being questioned within an inch of its life because they want to make sure that they're not throwing good money after bad, and their investment is protected, etc., etc. So it's a yes. So yesterday I was a bit like Tigger. I was really excited and I thought, oh my goodness, Mandy, what have you done? You've now got a massive job ahead of you in 2023 again to get this business on rails. But also I'm really excited because I've got loads and loads of plans for it. And what I wanted to do was start a vlog, a video blog of the process. So this is kind of right at the start of it. Now, when I did the mini castle, I did it through social media. So I was constantly updating my social media for everybody. I've decided not to do that this time because I've got so much happening in my business that I use my social media for. I don't want to fill up that space with like what's happening with the coffee shop. So I thought I'd do a vlog. Now, what I'm going to do is some of that will be filmed. I'm going to take you around when I can get access to see the before in the salon so you can see what it looks like right now. I'm going to take you through all the processes. We've got to put a new bathroom in for the apartment and a new kitchen and decorate it. So then that's going to be the first job. We're going to flip that within a couple of weeks. We're going to put a new bathroom, new kitchen in and decorate the 1-bedroom apartment so I can get it straight onto holidaycottages.com and start booking it as a weekly holiday let. It's got separate access and everything. So it's a great little apartment for 2 people, walkers or cyclists. So I can do that, flip that really quickly and get it earning for me. The coffee shop part is going to take a lot longer than that because there's a new kitchen got to go in. We're going to put new fire doors in. We're putting a disabled toilet in. So there's a few, and obviously a counter, and we've got tables and chairs to buy and decorating and everything. So there's a lot of work to do in there. But I'm going to take you along with me. I'm going to take you along on the journey, and I'm going to share the progress weekly of what we've done this week, even if it's nothing to show you, even if I'm just coming on a video and talking to you about what's happened this week. So yesterday I received the call from the bank manager. I then called my solicitor and said, right, I'm going to need you. We need to get this sale done. I called my architect that did the plans for this and said, I'm going to need you to draw plans up for me and submit a change of use planning permission. So can you come this week? So that was kind of stage one, get all the people that need to be involved in the project. So architects, solicitors, banks, all at the get-go, get them in and get them working and doing that pre-work, even though the money's not through yet, because we've got to do valuations. The bank is organising valuations for this place and for next door. Then we've got all the other legal stuff to get through and all the hoops to jump through for the bank. They needed my EPC rating, all of that. So that was yesterday afternoon. Like, get all this sorted out. So that's done, and I'm waiting for the bank to come back to me today because I have asked if I can set the company up as a community interest company instead of a limited company. They're very similar in the way that they operate, but with a community interest company, you can go for grants and funding. And I see when you have a space like that, I see a great opportunity of using it really effectively in the community. So I'm 2 doors down from the local food bank. We could do a couple of nights a week where we provide hot meals for people that are struggling on low incomes, etc., and a warm space for them to come for a couple of hours. And I'm sure I could get lottery funding or grant funding for that. We could do a couple of lunch times where we do OAP lunches to combat loneliness in the community and get people together. I would like to offer it out for events in the evenings. We're going to trade it 10 till 7. In the longer term, I might trade it as a bistro from 7 till 10 for maybe 4 nights a week. On the other 3 nights a week, we can take private parties. I want the space. I'm a businesswoman. I'm an entrepreneur. This is space. And you've got to use the space. So this is the thoughts coming out of my head onto video now of all the things I can do with this amazing space. We can have exhibition launches, gallery exhibition launches for local artists with gin tasting or wine and cheese, and get people in to see the work of the local artists and buy the work of the local artists. So I will be able to get grant funding from the Arts Council to support local artists in doing that. So there's lots of things. When you're setting up a business, you've got to think about, if I'm buying physical space, how am I going to make this physical space really work for me and work for the community I'm in? Because if you have an impact in your local community, you are going to build trust and loyalty with the rest of the community. You're going to get interest from the local press. I'm not doing it for that reason. But if I'm going to go and borrow money from a bank and build a business, I want to build a sustainable and profitable business, but something, if it's on a high street, that also has a positive impact on that high street and on the community that lives in Dalbeattie. So there's my thoughts, brain dumped onto a vlog so that you can keep up to date with what's happening at the Art Bank. Now, I don't even know whether I'm going to use that name. Here's a thing for you. So the mini castle is called the Art Bank, and I'm toying whether I use the name the Art Bank Coffee Shop and Gallery for next door, or whether I call it the Vault. What do you think? Should I call it the Vault? The Vault? I don't know whether that fits with Coffee Shop and Gallery. Or shall I stick with the Art Bank Coffee Shop and Gallery? I do like the Art Bank. It rolls off the tongue really nicely, but you know, I'm at that early stages now where I've not even got the signage or anything, and I've not created the brand yet. So the name is open to the world. So there you go. I'm going to leave that with you. I hope you've managed to watch all of this. I'm going to do 1 a week upload it to YouTube. And if you subscribe to my YouTube, you will get the updates and you'll be able to watch the weekly vlog on what's happening here in Dalbeattie with me building this creative empire around me. And what a wonderful thing to be working in a business that you truly love, that has multiple facets and huge opportunities for the future. It's just like living the dream. And this is what I help creative women to do. Come and live your dream. Come to Dalbeattie, come and do a retreat, come and work with me, come and have a coffee in my coffee shop, come and do an exhibition in my gallery. You know what? It's all connected. That's my word for the year: connection, synergy and connection. I look forward to updating you next week. And who knows what's going to happen this week? It'll be lots of different things happening, but I will keep you updated. Goodbye for now. Have an awesome week.